Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good. And in this case, we're talking all about entrepreneurship and driver's education. That's why we're honored to have with us Teresa Landrum Caswell. She is the owner and founder of Caswell Group Driving School. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. So, when you talk about the importance of your work, there's a lot to unpack in terms of entrepreneurship and job creation, but really importantly, teaching adults and teens how to drive safely. And so let's go ahead and dive in. Give us a little bit of background in terms of what led you to launch the business.
Well, I saw that this is what was needed in our community at that time. And, they took driver's ed out of schools in Tennessee. And so I wanted to offer our community something that they haven't had in a while. And I noticed that it was still in other communities. So I wanted our residents in Fraser to have the same opportunity as other communities. And so I launched that. I started the process, found out what it took to start a driver's ed school, and I just jumped out on faith. I knew we needed it. So
Absolutely. When you talk about on my end growing up in Texas, and it was a mandatory deal, like you had to go in and take all the defensive driving in the classroom, and then you get the training and the one-on-one guidance. And I think there's so much, because when you talk about driving a vehicle, it's a massive responsibility, and it's, something that you have to take very serious, especially because life is precious, right? And the cost is high on the insurance and all of those pieces too. So there's a very valuable piece to what you do. Go ahead and start talking about how it works, because you have teens, you have adults. So go ahead and start talking about the driver's education.
Absolutely. So we are approved with the state of Tennessee as a third-party testing center, driver education program. So we have to offer the 36 hours. That includes 30 hours in the classroom. That is split over 4 days. And that's where they'll learn the rules of the road, their signs, give them the information they need to study for the knowledge test to obtain their permit. And then after that, we have three simulators on site. So they'll do 2 hours on our simulator and then 4 hours in the car with an instructor. And the good news is that because we are a third-party testing center, if all requirements are met, meaning all their hours are done and they have their permit, we can do the final state driving test for them to obtain their license.
Talk about class size, enrolling, talk about those pieces.
Absolutely. So our class size, we normally try to keep it under 25. And the process is just for them to go online and register. The adults is in one class and the teens is in another class. So we keep them separate. So it's the same program. It's just one's for adults, one's for teen, which I was very surprised. Adults is actually our biggest market. Yeah. And so they do the 36 hours. They'll go on our website. On our website, we have all the days that class is available, and they'll select the class that they want to register for. They register and pay online, and they're registered. You show up for class.
It's interesting you mentioned the adults being the biggest kind of classes. Are those new drivers, or are they drivers who are just trying to kind of sharpen themselves?
These are new drivers, have never drove before. I'm noticing that they're around the 20 to 30 age mark, and that's about when they took driver's ed out of schools. I'm thinking, and they just didn't have anybody to work with them. And so that's mainly what I hear when I'm in the car with them. I ask them, "What's your story? Why did it take you so long?" She said, and that a lot of them just are like, "I didn't have anybody to work with me." And I said, "Enough is enough. I'm going to get my license this year." And then also, it's just a lot of the adults, they have traumatic experiences. Like they've known somebody who died in a car crash, right? Like their mom or their brother, and it just kind of put them on freeze. So they just stopped pursuing to get their license.
Talk about that side of it. I think there is a psychological piece to what you do, where it's one thing to teach the, the signs, the rules, the responsibilities. But then, like you're saying, there can be some trauma associated. And so trying to make sure that people are patient and observant, but understanding and are safe when they drive. So talk about kind of that psychological piece with you and your team.
It is very hard to find good instructors, but I have a wonderful team. Most of my instructors, 4 of them have been with me since I opened, and they're like, we're not going anywhere. And I kind of hired 2 new instructors along the way, and I got interviews actually today for some more. But it's hard to hire new instructors because I want to make sure that they are caring and loving like I am. You have to have the patience to serve. And oftentimes these students do come to us traumatized, and when you're in the car with them, you have to use a calming voice, because a lot of times, especially adults, they come to us traumatized, scared to get behind the wheel. And teens, sometimes they come to us traumatized because their parents have yelled at them when practicing. So with those, I can easily tell mom, "Hey, mom, just let us do it. Take it from here." And then it's just also you have to be firm sometimes because sometimes students will try to come in smelling like marijuana. I'm like, I'm not, go home and go home. We don't do that. We're not getting behind the wheel. Under anything, drugs, alcohol, nothing. And if I can smell it and see it in your eyes, I know you're under, something. I'm not for sure what it is, but I can guess because I can smell the weed. But so we just have to. There's different levels to it. It's different levels to it, and we are blessed because our team all has my vision, which is keep serving above all. I tell them when I hire them, the best way to serve God is to serve other people. And so that's the mindset that we keep. And as a result, when we're tired, I'll send them a text, keep serving, keep serving. They're like, okay, Teresa. But I couldn't do it without the team. So
Well, and I think you play a very important role because you can see, with each individual who you and your team are serving, they become a better driver, which then is better and, better protecting our community. And so
absolutely.
less accidents and less issues. And I think all of that plays a very important role in just being a safe society in terms of what you're doing. Talk about just the duration of the classes. I mean, obviously you mentioned the number of hours, but like from start to finish, what's a typical, days, weeks? What does that process look like in terms of, kind of the structure of it?
The classroom is normally 4 days in a row. Well, it depends. For during the summer, it's 4 days in a row from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. But adults mostly have to do weekends. So they'll do Saturday and Sunday, 2 weekends in a row from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we make it fun. We're not sitting up just talking the whole time. Like we're playing Kahoot and we're playing sign bingo, playing Jeopardy with driver's education information. We have guest speakers come in. For teens on the first day, I always, as a business, treat them to lunch, pizza on the first day, because we try to get set that atmosphere where they're connecting and engaging. That makes the 30 hours go by a lot funner and faster. And the teens, they always engage. Like by day 2, oh, they're exchanging numbers and everything. And adults, you don't have to really do that because they come ready to learn. They're like, all right, I don't need all them games. I just want to learn this stuff so I can get my license. But for teens, you have to keep them a little bit more engaged. So after that, then we have a scheduling software that they use to schedule their simulator and behind the wheel training. So they'll go on the scheduling software, they'll select the dates, they'll see all the dates like Wednesday 10 to 12, Wednesday 12 to 2, Wednesday 4 to 6. They select the day that's time that works best for them. And then after that, they'll schedule their in the car training. And they'll do the same thing. They'll look on the website, find the date and time that's best for them. And so we tell teens normally through the school year, plan for like 2 months to complete the program. Adults, they normally get pushed through a lot faster, mostly because like they'll find time to come in through the week. So through the week, is a lot. We have a lot more time. But weekends are like booked solid. So, for adults, I would say approximately 1 month, and teens approximately 2 months. which the teens have to hold their permit for 180 days anyway. So it's really no rush. We really try to, spread their drives out so they'll be fresh when they take the road test.
Yeah. Talk about expanding into Germantown.
Oh, so, this blessing came right at the right time because literally this year, January, because of I love the place that we're in now. We're inside of my church impact ministries, and it has been wonderful. We have office space, classroom space, but it's in Fraser. And so because of all the auto thefts in Fraser, 38127, in January, our insurance literally doubled. So I just reached out to one of my instructors. He provided me with the contact information at Union University. I reached out to him, said, "Hey, I'm looking, to move to Germantown. Would you be interested?" He's like, "Yeah." So, the conversation started sometime last year, I think. And then he came back and said, "The board approved. You want to come out and look at the space?" I'm like, "Yeah." And when I went to look at the space, it was so beautiful. So beautiful. It has two classrooms, a break room, office space, a place right on site where we can do the simulator. I mean, not the simulator, but the first drive. Because right now in Fraser, we have to drive like 5 minutes to the place that we reserve for the parking lot. At Union University, there's an area where we can use right there on site, so we won't have to drive. So, all that is just, you know, blessing. And then I was out driving around out there, trying to come up with some routes. And the driving out there is completely different too. Like in Fraser, you have to stay on alert because they don't give you your donut a space. They speed. It's just it's not safe driving to Fraser. And the police presence is really not there because they're so busy doing other things in Fraser. Like they get a lot of domestic violence calls and stuff like that. And when I went to Germantown, I noticed everybody was going the speed limit. Everybody kept their donut a space. I saw like 5 officers in 10 minutes. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I love it. I love that for my students and I love that for my instructors. I think they would really be happy about that.
Talk about community investment, giving back, being a part of the community. Talk about that side in terms of why that's important for you.
Absolutely. My husband and I, we have always been very, very passionate about serving our community. It's like you give, serve, and God will bless you. That's how we've always thought about it. And we understand, especially with my husband's story, who has 9 out of 10 aces, come from a single mother of 15 children. Um, he understands what it's like to come from nothing, right? And so if we have something, then we know that we can give something. If we don't have anything of value to give, then we know that we can at least give wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's what we try to do on our Facebook page as well. I just believe that the only way that we're going to stop this cycle that we're in is going back to the village. Like, when I was growing up, it was the village that helped raise us. Lady down the street, I'm looking like if I was walking down the street with a boy, I'm telling your mom, I make sure hope she know about it, stuff like that. I'm like, she know. But it's just everybody looked out for everybody. And now it's to the point where if you even try to say something to somebody's child, a lot of times they will just go off on the person, like, "Hey, I'm just trying to help her out, don't walk up the house with a bonnet on. Like those are for in the house." Just things like that. But you gotta realize that children are raising children now. Mothers, they're like sometimes 14 years older than their children, if that. So, we just believe in just trying to give back. We're not the type of people that sit around and complain about the situation if we're not trying to do something about it. And even then, I don't believe in complaining about it. I'm just like, okay, I'll do my best, do what we can and leave the rest up to God.
For you as an entrepreneur, what advice, what's a lesson learned that you would share as words of encouragement, as inspiration to other entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I actually shared the video because I left University of Memphis in May 2021. And I posted my last video I took when I was walking on campus. And I loved my job. I really did. I loved U of M. I was with the state of Tennessee for 15 years between UT and U of M. And so that was a hard decision to make. I kept trying to do it as a part-time thing, but it wasn't working. Like I realized I had to put my full energy into it. And when I left in May, I left in May. I got my approval with the state in June, held my first class in July. So my thing would be to say, don't give up on your dreams. Um, you have to show yourself and others that you're passionate about it and that you're willing to do the hard work, right? If you only treat it like a part-time thing, it's going to remain a part-time thing. If you're spending up 4 hours watching TV, you need to put 6 hours in your business. And that's what I did. Like I wrote the vision. That's another thing. Write it down, make a plan. All right. First, make sure you have a plan before you even start approaching people. Make sure you have your business license. Write down the steps that you want to take. Business license, get a logo done, get a website done, and then you're going to start, reaching out to potential partnerships and vendor or whatever your business is, start reaching out to people, but make sure you have your stuff together first.
Yeah, great advice. We'll wrap up with contact information. So where do we go to learn more, to enroll? So website, phone number, where would you direct us?
Absolutely. So our website is www.Caswell Group, CASWELL group.info. We have a Facebook page at Caswell Group Driving School. We do have an Instagram page, but I really don't check Instagram, so I would not advise you to go there. And then our office phone number is 901-552-5602.
Well, Teresa, thank you for all you do to power the good, you and your amazing team. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I love your energy, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing. You're being a blessing too.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.